for a few months now because I promised myself that no matter how busy I got, I would do at least one video because there's just so much content that I have not put out yet. But I'm doing it now, and it kind of hit me that, I think there's a reason why I couldn't do it before, because there's something that I needed to add to the story that recently happened to me. So today's topic is spiritual warriors and tapping into your subconscious mind. So as I, started on this journey, one of the things that was really important to me as I was reading and researching and all of that stuff was, of course, your subconscious mind, right? Your subconscious mind stores a lot of things from your past and your childhood, and unfortunately, most of it is negative things. It's things that people have projected onto us from childhood through different relationships, from your parents, friendships, whatever it may be, and it's lies, right? And if it's not corrected early enough in your life, it manifests into different negative personality traits, right? And it's also, it also causes major blockages in your life. So as I sat down to do things like what I'm doing right now, making this video on a topic like spirituality, or when I was going for a really high position job, or when I was about to speak my mind on a very specific topic when it comes to spirituality or human nature, I got really, really, really tense, and this overwhelming feeling of being scared. Like I was scared. I wasn't sure what I was scared of, but I was scared. Like my throat chakra closed up. And I began to feel scared. Like that is the best word that I can describe for you. And it was the feeling that was in my gut. It was very strong. It stopped me anytime I was about to speak on something along these lines, or speak my mind in a way that I saw that was like contradictory to something I saw in the media or on social media or whatever it may be, or to a friend of mine or something of that nature. So when I started to dive a little bit more into how to correct the subconscious mind, one of the tactics that is out there is that because the subconscious mind is very quiet. Your conscious mind is loud. Your subconscious mind is very, very quiet, and a very, very sneaky voice that, although it's quiet, it has more power over your actions than your conscious mind does, right? Because it's been there for so long. Some of this shit has been there since childhood, right? It's been there for so long that you've gotten used to hearing it. So one of the ways to tap into your subconscious mind is to, of course, be in a quiet room and get quiet. Start thinking about something that you've been wanting to do that you have not been able to do, or a topic that when it comes up, you kind of get tense. It's going to be different for everyone, right? It's going to be the topic that really triggers your subconscious mind is different for everyone. So when you start thinking about that, you're going to have a pen and paper with you. You're going to get really quiet. You're going to start thinking about, I'm going to give you a topic. I want to write a book, right? I want to write a book on spirituality. I'm just being very vague. What will happen is your subconscious mind, whatever is attached to that action that you're trying to do, your subconscious mind will start kicking in. It's a very quiet voice. And it would start saying things like, it's different for everyone. You can't do that. You're stupid. Why do you think you can do that? X, Y, and Z, right? Now, let me bring it back to my personal experience when I did this. When I did this, and I did this on several topics, so there were several things that I was trying to get to the bottom of. One of them was when it came to anything to do with putting myself front and center, or claiming something as mine, or speaking or defending myself, or speaking up for myself, or allowing myself to shine, or get the center of attention, or whatever it may be. It was something along those lines. And it was also something whenever I would get into a relationship. And the things that I found out that I was telling myself was so devastating and terrible. I would tell myself that I'm not worthy. Like, these are things that my subconscious mind was telling me. Although my outward appearance was different, my subconscious mind would tell me these things when it came to certain topics or incidents in my life. I would tell myself I'm not worthy. I would tell myself I haven't worked hard enough. I would tell myself that someone else deserves it more than me. And excuse me if I start crying in this video. I would tell myself that, someone else deserves it more than me. I would tell myself that I'm not lovable. I'm not lovable in the form that I am. I would tell myself that no one is going to love me the way that I am with all my flaws. Just to name a few, right? And this is when I did, topics like that. And how to retrain that, of course, is if you've been able to train yourself to even hear those things, because you can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to practice it every day. If you can train yourself to hear, because if you can't hear it, you can't correct it. So once you start hearing it, then you can counter it by telling yourself the opposite things, because majority of those things are lies, and they are from past traumas in your life that had carried over into your adulthood. And you don't even notice that you are operating on this level. You don't even notice it, right? And it will come out as a blockage or hindrance in an area of your life that you just, you've probably been sitting around like, oh my God, I haven't been able to get this job. I haven't been able to manifest love. What's the problem? Why? Blah, blah, blah. And your conscious is just, having the forefront, but the truth of what of what's going on is that your subconscious mind is the most powerful voice that you need to control, because it's really that your subconscious voice is what dictates your actions, no matter what you think, right? So, as this relates to spiritual warriors, for a very, very long time in my life, ever since I could remember, I always was drawn to spirituality and always wanted to dive deeper into, things that I think most people would be scared to. And as I got older, that urge grew. Due to the world around me, I suppressed it in many, many different ways. And I just always saw things different than other people. And I also saw things before other people could see them in certain areas, depending on what it was. And whenever I went to speak on these things, it would manifest into gut pain and different gut problems. So when I started the mindfulness and tapping into my subconscious, in my deep spiritual journey like I am on now, making these videos was something I always wanted to do, because there's just so much that I had learned through my experiences that I just always had this deep urge, like, I need to talk about this, I need to speak about this. And so when I started to tap into my subconscious mind, and I would bring up the topic of making or creating a YouTube channel and speaking on topics like this, and when I started to listen to what my subconscious mind was telling me, it was telling me things like, don't do it. They are going to try to attack you. It would have this, it would make me feel very scared. And so when I went to start writing down what my subconscious mind was telling me whenever I went to go speak on these topics or anything of that nature, one of the things were they're going to attack you. They're not going to understand you. Your life is in danger, things of that nature. Very, very crazy things, right? And then when I wrote it down, I'm like, this is insane. Like, none of these things are going to happen to me if I start, like, other people are doing it, right? See other people speaking on it, like, I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. And what it is, if your ancestors were people, because people's ancestors were enslaved people. People's ancestors were slave owners. People's ancestors were deemed witches. People's ancestors were, tortured, slaughtered. People's ancestors were regal and royalty as well, right? So if you have a bloodline of what I call spiritual warriors, or even people that were deemed witches, what's going to happen is when you start to think about and want to speak on certain topics, fear and being scared is going to come over you, and you'll get this deep feeling in your gut of just, it's almost debilitating, right? Whenever you go to do it, it's going to stop you because this overwhelming feeling of being scared will come over you. And what that is, it's the channeling of what your ancestors went through when they were speaking on things like that. That's directly what it's connected to. And it's right here in your gut, right? All the traumas in your root chakra. But this is right here in your gut. And once you write these things down and see how ridiculous it is, that is something that you should use to move forward with doing whatever it is that you're being called to do. So these are things that your ancestors went through when they spoke up, when they lived during a time where, people didn't understand them, and the occult and spirituality, that whole thing where witches were being burned at the stake, not for doing anything wrong, but simply, they didn't understand. They didn't understand. But now we're in, we're in a different time right now, right? We're in a completely different time. And that's that whole play on the conscious and subconscious mind that you have to push through in order to get these messages out. Now, I don't have a lot of YouTube videos out, and that's because every time I go to do certain videos, it takes a lot of energy out of me, because there's a lot of things at play that wants to, that there's a lot of trauma at play when it comes to releasing certain messages out. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, you know, I have, you know, one of my aunts, I'm not going to go too deep in it, but she wants to write a book that she deems very controversial. And I was having a conversation with her, and this is when I had to deliver that message to her because I knew that's what it was. And, you know, she was like, oh my God, it's the exact same thing that I go through. And that's mainly when it comes to, you know, topics of, you know, of things that others may deem, you know, whatever. But it's really them just not understanding it. But we're in a different time right now is really the message, what I'm trying to relay to everyone out there. And that's how you can move past this trauma that's in your gut and directly related to the messages that you need to put out to the world. Because that's how you can differentiate like what's a real threat to you and what's just your subconscious mind kicking in due to generational trauma and X, Y, and Z. So as one proceeds to release messages like this, whatever it may be connected to, because everyone's ancestors are different and connected to different things. So as you go on and speak out about these things, you're actually breaking generational curses. And I broke a generational curse in one of these videos, something that I didn't even know about. And that was actually one of the hardest videos for me to do. And so as you go and you, whatever it may be, for me, it's, you know, speaking on topics like this that I haven't even really began to tap into. Like this is just the bare minimum of the information that I have. So recently, as I was planning this event in my community that pretty much kind of my third year planning it at this point. Last year when I planned it, it was probably, I went through probably, I think it was the second dark night of the soul that I've been through, which I was actually shocked that I went through another one. I'm still kind of getting deeper into that. But so what I wanted to tell you guys as it pertains to what happened to me recently. So as I've been tapping into my subconscious mind, and, you know, being on my spiritual journey, one of my fears, which fears are, you know, not real, like, I'm not going to get into all of that, but one of my fears and one of the things that I have been trying to correct in my life that I have not been able to heal, not correct, one of the things that I've been wanting to heal in my life that I have not been able to, because I've been able to heal a lot of things, a lot of trauma. I am a healer, but there's always been this one thing that I just couldn't quite put my finger on. And it's that from a very early age, I've had this feeling of loneliness, right? I could be with other people. I could be in a room full of people. I could be in a relationship, but I always felt alone. And I always felt that no one would understand me, could understand me, would understand me. So that resulted in, you know, a lot of things. That resulted in me developing a fear of abandonment and being attached to the wrong people, and, you know, not being able to express myself because I felt like no one understood me. And this was like no matter what, right? I feel like I've had people who came in who at times I felt like they could understand me, and, you know, they were in my company, but still, it's like no matter what, I still had this deep feeling of being alone, no matter what, No matter who was around me, no matter what I was doing, I always felt alone and that no one would understand me. It was this very, very deep yearning, this deep wound that resulted in a yearning for all the wrong things. And, whenever you're operating out of fear or an unhealed trauma in your life, you attract people who want to take advantage of that, right? So a lot of people came into my life who saw that and played on it and in a negative way and, took advantage of, the fact that I had this, trauma that, resulted in clearly me, having this abandonment issue, right? And, for years, I kind of gave up on really trying to heal it in a sense. And it was deeply connected to my relationships, my love relationships. That's where the most connection was that I've noticed. A little bit of friendships, but really it was deeply connected to my love relationships. So, I kind of gave up on that at a time. Like, I'm constantly attracting, the wrong situations and X, Y, and Z. So just a few days ago, I don't know really how to describe it, but right after I was done planning this very, very big event in my community, I felt peace. I felt this overwhelming sense of peace within myself and comfort. And for the first time in my life, so let me bring it back a little bit. So I've always known that I was protected at a very young age. I always knew that I was highly protected and loved by my ancestors, but I could never feel it. I knew it by the incidents and things that happened throughout my life, but I couldn't feel it. Up until maybe a month ago, I would say. So fast forward to what I was just talking about the day after my event. The best word that I can find for the feeling was peace and oneness with myself. For the first time ever in my life, I didn't have this chip on my shoulder or sore wound that was yearning for something that was outside of myself. And I felt my ancestors more than I ever did. And it was almost as if, like, I know now that I'm not alone. I'm not alone because they are always with me. I could never feel them before. And I feel them now. And that feeling has fulfilled me. And I still can't believe it. So that's why I wanted to kind of include this in this video. Because, this is something that I have not been able to heal on my own. And I can heal a lot of things. I can do a lot of things. But this was this one thing. And I don't even know how it was done. I have no idea how it was done. I don't know if it was something I did. I have a few inklings that has not been, confirmed within me yet. But, one of the, I can feel them right now. And one of the main messages that they, wanted me to know was that, they want me to be happy. They want me to be happy, and they want me to have joy and experience true bliss while I'm on this earth. And they say I work too much. But this blessing that I just received, it's like I can't even really fully explain it to you guys. If I was to have a choice between $1 million and this blessing that I just received, it would be this blessing. I mean, it was this one thing that has been plaguing me my entire life. It's like it just disappeared. It just disappeared. And, you know, it could have been somebody else that helped me. That's something that I'm getting as well. It could have been, you know, someone else with similar healing energies that I have, but that person would have had to have access to me. And I mean, that alone, you know, also just brings me, you know, it just to a whole nother level, because the majority of the people that I have encountered in my life who saw this issue with me took advantage of it. So it's like someone could have, the thought that someone saw this issue with me and didn't take advantage of it, but yet helped to heal it, is just insane. It's just insane to me. And then, you know, this could have been a result of, you know, the things that I've been doing in my life, and my ancestors helped to unblock this. It was just the timing of it all. And the generational curses and wounds that I have been trying to unlock and heal. Yeah, so, you know, doing this type of work manifests in all different areas of your life. You know, you'd be surprised at how working on yourself unlocks other things in your life that you didn't even know was connected, right? Yeah, so I think that's all that I have for this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have.